All right. I am here. Hopefully you all can hear me. Okay, welcome. Check my settings, make sure. All right, you should all hear me now. Good to see you all. Elbow cough. What did I miss? All right. We'll get rolling here in a couple minutes, guys. Jose, what's up? Spencer, Israel, Eliezer, how do you say that? I probably butchered it. I apologize. I don't mean to do that. GJ Crafts, Alton Jones, Facebook user Neil the Amazing. What's up, Home Slice? Good to see you. I butchered it. Oh man, spell it phonetically for me in the chat box. Jared's here. I know Neil's in the house. This must be an important call because Neil doesn't like people. So for him to jump on where there's a lot of people. James in New Zealand, what's up, brother? Protex, good to see you. All right. Bakersfield, good to see you. Yeah, I hit live and then I had to go to the bathroom before this started. So if you were on here and nothing was happening, that's where I was. So RM Digit. Hello to you, Procore Sean Lon. What's up, buddy? Oh my God. Neil, you're speaking in code again, man. I don't know what you're doing. Jay Johns is here. What's up? Good to see you. And David Hartman, Roy. All right, man. We're hopping on. Got about a minute to go here. I'm waiting for my co-pilots to get on here. I got Tim and Derek going to join me tonight. We're going to dig into some cool stuff. Hopefully give you some good stuff to help you build your business. All right. I know this platform we use is not always the easiest, so Derek and Tim, I'm sure, will be here in a second. Sometimes it's tough to get on with the link, and you got to like reset your computer and shit. So, Jeff, what's up, man? Scott McDowell, good to see you. There's Timmy. What's up, Tim?
Hey, buddy. How are you this morning, this afternoon, this evening?
Yeah, whatever it is, man. It's morning, afternoon, evening. You know, man, your age confuses things like that, Tim. So
That's what I'm hearing, brother. Thank you for setting me straight.
Oh, cool. Scott, thanks for that, man. Matos, what's up? Here's Derek. There he is. Look at these handsome fellas.
What's happening?
What's up, homie?
Stud. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Doing good.
All right.
Hey, if my green screen, the background, if that's too distracting, I'll cut it off. So let me know.
Yeah, fine with me. We'll let the audience decide. Guys, if Derek's screen behind him, his green screen is annoying, let him know. I can pretty much roll with anything, you know.
yes,
so
you
because I've seen my first videos, so I'm like, hey, anything we're doing now is better than that. So
I have too.
Tim, you had that green screen on this morning.
Yeah, I don't know how I can get it back on here. Dude, I have people for that. I just can't find them.
I have people. That's right. They all went home, didn't they?
Yeah, they give the night off.
Yeah, they're off.
It's after hours.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good to be together, everybody. Welcome. We're going to talk about how sales is a learnable skill. I actually paused a little today when I saw the title of this. I went, is learnable a word? You know, learnable.
Hey,
it is a word. It was just kind of, it's a word we don't use that often.
But I think it was South. So it's like, yes, that makes sense to me.
All right. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
I thought my grandmother was being kind. No, not really.
There you go.
No.
All right. So listen, if you're on here right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, guys, give it a like. Seriously, right now, like it on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, like it on Facebook, give it a heart, give it a like, give it a share. Here's why. Because the more home improvement contractors that learn the shit we're about to share with you today, okay, and dig into some of this stuff, the better off everyone in the industry is going to be. Because what's that thing? The rising tide lifts all yachts. Ships, yachts. Yeah, we don't operate in little tugboats and dinghies here, man. We're about yachts. Boats and yachts. There you go. Yachts. Yeah. Neil said that you look like you got a little Mike McAllowitz going here, Derek. I don't know if you know that. He's got a big beard now. So I
don't even know who that is. Oh, no, I do. Wait, no, that dude. Now I know. Okay, wait, who? The guy that wrote Profit First? Got it. Yep.
And he will be with us down in Florida here in another 2 months, I think it is, end of April. So guys, go to thecontractorfight.com under events. You can check that out if you want. And you get a couple days with all of us and all that other good shit. So guys, we're going to dig in and have a open conversation here. Oh, by the way, Roz checked and that is a word. Learnable is a word.
Learnable.
So I knew it was, Roz. I knew you wouldn't put a made up word up there. No, I would, but not Roz because she's squared away. All right. Jose wants to know where you get your coffee, Tim.
Not from him.
Not from him. Have you tried Guatemala coffee? He says. So there you go.
No, Costa Rica. I have to go get my own.
From the Costa Ricans.
You were just there, weren't you?
Yeah, the wonderful place.
I have not been to Costa. Was it humid? Is it humid there?
Oh,
I'm having a very basic drip. It's not even fancy.
Yeah, I drink when I buy coffee, I buy McDonald's coffee. It's my favorite coffee. Go figure, right? So, all right, they didn't come here for coffee talk.
No.
All right, damn it, Jose. See what you did? All right, so, oh my God, Charlie Ross is on here. What's up, Charlie?
Charge.
That's right. Speaking of cool people. All right. So, guys, what I'm excited about for you watching here tonight is this. We have zero idea what's about to come out of our mouth here tonight. And that's how the three of us do this. We've known each other so long, and I think we operate at a level consistently that brings high value. And that's why I don't like to overscript any of the stuff we do, especially when we're together, because then you lose the magic. So before we get into this, why don't you guys introduce yourself for anybody here that might not know who you is?
Tim, go ahead.
All right, cool. My name is Tim Cutroni, and I'm a sales coach in the Contractor Fight. I have a background in auto repair because I was actually an auto technician for my whole life until a couple of years back when I went full time in my business. We owned a pond and water feature company in Massachusetts. Derek?
My name is Derek Johnson, and I'm a coach and sales trainer in the Contractor Fight as well. And I have a contracting business as well. Been doing it for 26 years. I repeated the same year for 19 years and could not get my head out of my ass until I met the right people. And then a few years later, things are way cooler.
It is way cooler. You sent me a screenshot of your bank account last week. That was pretty cool. So it's Derek cool does that every now and then. You do that a couple times a year. You're like, hey, motherfucker, look at this.
Yeah, look at this shit. This works. This works, y'all.
Yeah. Really so Derek, I want to dig into this because an email went out where we talked about this tonight. We were promoting it. And in the email, we made reference to the fact that you sold like $100 and something $1,000 job in less than 15 minutes.
12.
And you did it
12 minutes.
12 minutes. See, he had to correct me on it.
Come on.
And but what was cool is you did it live in front of our sales training group. It was a while back, but you did it live. How the hell did that happen?
It comes all from the training, and it literally came from basically what he said to me before that. And he said, Derek, I want you to build the most badass thing that you've ever built. And at that point, the most badass thing that I ever built was $167,000. So at that point, I knew I had him. I just needed to set it up, tee it up, and have the spirit of the conversation and roll through it. And I was prepared. So I literally said, hey, man, if you want me to build the most badass thing that I've ever built, that one was $167,000. And he literally said, I'll give you 100 grand. I want you to build the most awesome thing that you've ever built in your life. Now, seems easy, right?
Yep.
But it all came from the training and just going, okay, I heard exactly what he said. So I'm going to tee this up. I'm going to set it up and see what happens. And he literally just said, cool. I'm going to give you another 100 grand. So now this should be $267,000. What do you do?
All right. So you dropped something that I want to start with here. You uttered the words spirit of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of guys jump into a sales training program, or maybe they've grabbed our videos or whatever, and they're like, where's all the scripts? And if I just say the scripts, and if I just say this, when they say that, and blah, 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 I'm going to sell more stuff. Guys, that's not how we operate. So talk, either one of you or both of you, talk what we mean when we say the spirit of the conversation and why it's so important.
Well, for me, I just through the foo, learning how this stuff works, asking those open-ended questions and how things would flow, that I could truly just talk to people like it was just a casual conversation. And once I got the training, and so let me articulate this correctly. For years, I was scared to death to talk to people because I did not have the words. But in a normal conversation, I did. Like if we're just hanging out and having beers or just chatting or whatever, the gift of gab, right? We all got it. We all got the gift of gab. We're salespeople. But when I could tie that into the foo and go, wait, I actually have these word tracks. I have these arrows in my quiver. I can pull whichever arrow out that I need. So that's when the spirit of the conversation for me evolved. I could settle into it and go, no matter what's happening, this call is going to be okay. And this conversation is going to be okay. So I just started relaxing and just having the conversation like I was having it with my buddy, speaking candidly. Sometimes you got to speak up with candor and be frank and set up those winnable moments, if you will, just through a conversation. So for me, that's how the spirit of the conversation evolved. Is like, I'm actually relaxed. I'm selling, but I'm just having a nice conversation.
And there's a confidence with that because you've put the reps in, you've put yourself into these, we'll get into role playing later, but you put yourself in situations over and over again in practice so that your heart rate isn't increasing when you're in the real. Type in the sales box, guys. You ever been in a sales situation, conversation with a prospect, client, whatever, and you can feel like you're getting backed into a corner and your heart rate starts beating a little faster. Your heart's beating a little faster. I know I felt it many, many times for many years, and it's a shitty feeling. I'm just curious if maybe I'm the only one. Probably the only one, but I don't know.
It's that confidence thing, man. You're so right when you say that. Like, it's just, you have to practice and prepare so you can rise to your highest level of training. And therefore that's where the confidence comes in. Cause I mean, so we were having a coaching call earlier and we're going through stuff. And you said, Derek, how would you handle the situation? Mm-hmm. And I literally just like, it just came out and you're like, dude, you're so good at this. And I'm kind of thinking in my mind, it's like, no, yes, because I prepared. But it's like, it's only because I prepared. Like, it's not just natural. I just went, I'll use this one. Oh, I'll use this one. I've used this one before. Oh, let me use this one. This is perfect. So that's where the confidence comes in. You can back me in the corner, but I'll turn around and I'll kick out the fucking wall.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Tim, what's spirit of conversation mean to you?
I'm looking at some of the chats going on and about when the phone rings and the anxiety gets high. And sometimes I remember going back in time when the phone rang and I felt the same way too. It's like, shit, this guy's going to ask me something. I want to talk about something I'm not prepared to talk about. I remember seeing listening to Derek's call live when he sold that big job. And I'm like, shit, how am I going to beat that? That was the first thing I said to myself. I was like, freaking Derek. He just put this, this next bar up for me. The spirit of the conversation for me is just, if I'm looking at somebody's picture they sent to me and I'm just listening to what they have to say and I'm not thinking about what to say next. I'm just talking. I'm just listening. I'm just answering. I'm just responding. There's nothing. And we talked about this before. There's nothing going on in my head except just what they're telling me. And that's it. And it just flows so easily. So no hidden agenda, just listen to what's going on, following the flow of it, not being the expert. And that's what Derek was on that call. It was like, shit, that was just amazing. It was, Derek. And I hate.
Thank you. And like, we don't have enough time for me to go through. There's other things to talk about. Like, there were so many sequences of events that led up to that. So it wasn't just like, I think I'm blocking the sun with my hand. Sorry. That led up to that. But I was able to rise to my highest level of training. And I just want to give Tim a shout out. Dude, you are so unbelievably good at this shit now. Tim and I, we catch up regularly because as coaches in this group, we need to, talk and communicate at different times. And I had a call with him a couple of days ago about something I had going on. And Tim literally said, Derek, you just need to be validated on this. And he validated me, which is so important. Like, he went back through what I was feeling. He said, this is how you're feeling. And I'm sitting there going, son of a bitch. Like, Tim, you got it. And he's like, did I get that right? And it's like, dude, I feel so good right now. Like, thank you for hearing what's going on. And we basically solved the problem together. So, dude, you're unbelievable at this. Like, you've so surpassed me in this stuff. I'm still hanging on the word tracks. I'm still hanging on spirit of the conversation. But you're doing a whole nother level, dude.
You know what, Derek? And we're going to lead into this. I know Tom is bringing us here, but how do you think I got that good?
Because you just put in the time, man.
Because I'm with you, dude.
Wow.
We're playing this shit out. We're living this. We're living what we say.
Yeah.
So, guys, you might be thinking this is like a weird love fest online right now, and it's not. What's happening is you are seeing – no, seriously, you are seeing the power of hanging out with the right people, all right? I know a lot of people will – all right, so, for instance, we just released our new Shin-Fu Sales Training videos last week that you guys did the bulk of all the training on. Somebody could pick those up and get a ton of value, and we're hearing from a lot of people they're getting a ton of value, but the next level shit – is when you take that and you combine it with hanging with the right people, right? Yeah. And you rub off on each other. And guys, that's what's happening here. Yeah, Sean says bromancing, but it's truly today we were on the call. Derek, you were talking about it, and you were talking about a situation where you're doing a test with one of our members for the black belt and where he fell apart in the objection that he got. And like half an hour later, I'm like, well, I want to know how Derek would handle that. So I just jumped into a role play and I picked it up and you just grabbed it and you took it. And literally, Tim, you were like nodding your head. Yeah. Lindsay was on there and I was on there. And Lindsay and I were like, you son of a bitch, man, that was so smooth. And so it was like, so we're always learning something, you guys. You're never going to arrive. So, all right, guys, whoever wants to answer this. Derek, are you in your Airstream right now? Is that where you're at?
I am.
Right. Usually the sirens when there's an Airstream.
Yeah.
You got some police chasing the hood or something?
Hey, this is real life though. This is when I'm sorry it's on video, but when I'm Shin-Fuing customers, they're hearing the same thing. Like, it's just, it's part of it,
All right. So here's my question. Guys, I'm going to ask these guys a couple questions. Then we're going to open it up to you guys to ask some sales questions. Okay. But my question is, if somebody says to you, hey, I've heard about this Shin-Fu thing, how's it different from any of the other sales training that's out there?
You go first, Tim.
Can I answer honestly?
No, I was hoping you'd lie. But
you may not like the answer. I'm not aware of any other sales training except like slamming shit down people's throats. Mm-hmm. That's this selling shit to get products off the shelf. That's not a Shin-Fu. My ultimate outturn is trying to in sales is trying to help people get what they want. That's all I care about. Sales systems out there are just teaching you word tracks so you can take what you got and put it in their home, and that's not what I do.
Well, that's who you are, though, Tim. I've known you long enough. Like, one of the things that's deeply embedded in you, ingrained in you, is you don't ever want to be a fraud in any way, shape, or form. And I think that carries out. I think that's why you're so successful in the way you sell, because you genuinely are not afraid to walk away if you don't believe you can help somebody, or if you're not the best fit. And that takes all the pressure off, versus most salespeople are like, oh, my commission, or I got to keep the crew busy, which are all important things, but can't be the root of it all. No. So that doesn't surprise me that you'd answer that way.
Well, we're the opposite of pressure sales, which is it's like we're really patient because we come from the right place. Just like with Tim, it's like, if we can help them, and in my world, we want to create happiness in their space. In order to do that, we need information. We need to gather the information, understand what their motive is and why they want to do it. And then we need to be able to discern what that is from our experience in our craft and our field, and then walk through the steps to go, give me the right information. And if I ask the right questions, I can. And for me now, when it was 101, it was just like, I just need something. Just like I'm just trying to go through objections, because I know I'm going to get on the phone with this person and they're just going to object to everything. Now it's like, if I can listen to you for 5 to 7 minutes and get enough information, I can form a price and we can talk about money, because that's what people really want when they're on the phone. I mean, who calls to just chat?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's calling, reaching out to you because they need a number. Yes, you might have some people that need a lot of detail to make that decision, but then you might be like me, where I just want you to literally answer your phone as, let's say you're an electrician, and just go, I'm ABC Electricians, and Derek, it's going to cost you $500. Like, that's what I would prefer it to happen that way.
Yeah.
Like, don't get techno with me. So that's why I think we're the opposite. We're trying to gather the information instead of going out and just throwing up on them and just being the expert and beating on our chest. We just want to walk you through what it looks like and then get you as fast as you can and understand where you are in the decision-making process.
I love that. So for those listening, one of the things that we hear all the time, there's 3 things I wrote down that we hear all the time that people who are not practiced often ask the question. And again, you just don't know what you don't know. So I'm not ripping on anybody, but like, number one, guys, the typical contractor sales process is you call, you're in my zip code and you have a pulse. I'm going to run out and I'm going to do my presentation. Okay. That's just the blanket statement. That's the normal. One of the things that we're teaching people to do is what these guys are talking about, is just going, hey, before we start taking all these steps to get together and meet and change your schedule and blah, 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 and spend all this time together, let's just make sure that I can even help you. We're on the same planet with some certain things. And so we teach people to take control of that sales process, right? Which in turn saves a lot of time for everybody. Helps you sell jobs at the right price. You weed out the tire kickers, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into all that right now. However, here's a couple things that people that hear this often struggle with. So Tim, you mentioned earlier, like if somebody sends me a picture, like just that phrase, talk to the group here about what you mean by that. Why is somebody sending you a picture? What's that all about?
Yeah. It's even like so basic that it's hard to discuss, but before I get on the phone with people, I mean, people call me and they say, hey, I have this going on or that going on. I said, I asked for a photo. So they're talking on the phone and they know what they see because they're looking at it, but I have no freaking idea. If they say they have a waterfall could be Niagara Falls. A waterfall could be a trickling piece of concrete down a hill. If I don't know what they're talking about, then the conversation goes nowhere. So I always request a photo. They can submit it to my website or they can text it to me, whatever works for them. But I've got to be looking at what they're looking at. And also, Tom, asking for a photo is a micro commitment. If they're not going to send me a picture, chances are they're not going to follow my process, and therefore it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Got it. How about you, Derek? Any advice for people how to get the typical prospect that's not used to something like this to get them to send you a picture for somebody who's never done that before?
It's just the spirit of the conversation. It sounds something like, thank you so much for calling me. I'm very grateful that you even chose us. I'm curious, how did you find us? So for me, that's how I
let's do it right now. We'll just do it. Ring, ring. Hello.
Hey, Tom, this is Derek with JVI Secret Gardens. How are you, sir?
Great. Thanks for calling me back, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. First of all, is this a bad time?
No, this is a great time, man. I'm driving. So.
Oh, cool. So just wanted to follow up and just kind of see how things are going and just see how I can help. So what I'm going to do just for a couple of minutes, I'm just going to be quiet. You just tell me exactly what you want me to know.
Oh, wow, man. Well, I was I'm looking to get a water feature and some outdoor work done, landscaping in the backyard. I was at my buddy's house on the East Coast a couple weeks ago, and he had just this killer backyard getaway, man. And I just, I figured, man, it was relaxing. We were chilling out. He said he has his friends over all the time. And I figured when I got home, I'd start looking on Google to see if somebody could do something like this and what it might cost.
Killer backyard getaway?
Yeah, man. Like he had water. He had this, like, I don't know what you call it. It was some like a pond. It was like a pond that it was a waterfall that like disappeared in the ground. It wasn't really a pond. It was a waterfall that like disappeared in the ground. There was a sound of water, and you had some fire and some lighting, and it was just relaxing.
That sounds very relaxing.
Yeah. So when can you come out? How does this work? You come out and give me an estimate or whatever, or what do we do?
Well, we'll definitely get there, and I can't wait to come out and hang out in your space, and we can dream together. We can put some stuff, come up with a whole plan, start doing takeoffs and getting prepared to install this in your backyard. I got a couple more questions, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I want to be able to see what you see, because that helps. I'm just this weird creative man, because you want me to be creative, right? Like, you need this artistic guy. But there's two guys. There's the artistic Derek, and there's also the businessman Derek that actually has to put things together so that I can get you a price.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do this a couple of ways right now. You can just describe it to me, and I could probably get you some round numbers. Or you can send me some pictures of your space. We can look at it. We can grab another phone call. We can get a little more detailed. And I don't have to come out to your yard to give you an estimate. We can do an estimate over the phone, because an estimate is just an estimated price. Now, when I come out to your space, we're doing hard numbers, and it's reality, and we're talking about deposits and consulting and, who else is involved in the project, and just making sure that you're okay with what things are going to look like. And I want you to really be honest with it. It's like this whole thing we got to go through. So of those two options, what would you like to do? Share a vision or send me pictures?
I could probably text you a couple pictures, because we have this weird slope of the yard, and I've always been kind of confused what we could do with that. So
no, that's good. I need to bring a transit out. No, that's good. That's good. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. As soon as we hang up, I'm going to send you a link. Just click on that link. You can upload photos. You can upload all your contact information. It's going to come directly to me, because I'm your guy. And then once I receive that, we'll schedule a little call. We'll get on the phone. It takes 20 minutes. I'll be able to give you a price. We'll be able to set up whatever we need to set up, but we're going to talk money. That's the goal. When you send that to me, we're going to talk money, and then we're going to see what happens after that. You good with that?
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right, let's tap out. Chat box. What just happened there? Type a word or two in what you all just saw. I have a word that's coming to my mind that I think most contractors struggle with when it comes to the sales process. And we'll give that a minute. Maybe, I know sometimes there's a little delay here. Okay, Sean says freaking gold.
Dude, Tom, I'm watching. I'm like, my jaw is like on the floor. It's like, what the frick, Derek? That's like the next level.
Scott says getting to the motive, trust, credibility. Tim, I'll go first, then you can share any thoughts. I just thought control.
Yeah, Neil just said it as well.
Okay, yeah, okay. Neil just said it. Like, guys, however many leads that come into your business, that's how many sales processes you're going to be on if you don't learn to take control. And what Derek did is he took control of the process by giving me control. Okay. He made it my idea in a sense. Okay. And it was really hard because of tonality, pacing, other things that we won't get in here tonight. We don't have time. That made it really hard to not go along with Derek's process. Okay. And Ethan put pre-qualified. This isn't even pre-qualified yet, Ethan. This is just getting an agreement to play along with Derek's rules. Now, percentage-wise, Derek, I know as you've gotten better, the percentage is probably going down, but what percentage of people fight this process?
Rarely ever. Every now and again, I'll get someone that hesitates about the photos. Now, what's so interesting is, so let me back up for just a second. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I hit all 5 steps in that quick rant.
You did.
Like, yeah. I hit all of them. So it is just, for me, I call it the echo, because that was just my first iteration of what that looks like. So we can get more into that. So what I'm finding now is we would use the BS meter, step 5, consulting, as a tire kicker. But now what I'm starting to find out, if you don't want to send me photos, that has now become the BS meter, because I've set it up in a way, if you don't want to send me photos, you don't want to do business. Like, it's not about I can't do it, I'm not able to, because I can work through that. Like, that's easy. It's like, you got a grandbaby, I know you do. Your neighbor, like, who's all technical savvy? They can get that picture. Like, how can I help out? Like, let's see how. So I can work through that. So now, when you hesitate, and I just had one 3 days ago, nice little lady called. She wasn't interested because she didn't want to send me pictures. Like, it wasn't even a thing, even though I set it up. So now I'm going, that's good. This is totally cool. I'm fine with that.
Tim, what are your observations, things that you might have picked up on that maybe I didn't or somebody else didn't?
With Derek had the control over there, I think people like to feel that they feel confident that Derek has a way of doing things, and it doesn't leave it up to them to figure things out. So the confidence was there. And it's an efficiency, man. It's just so easy. And what's so weird is, like, well, not even weird, I guess. It's like, if this process is not done to me when I have a contractor at my house or I'm doing business with somebody, it's so freaking painful. I get so mad about it. It's like, how can you not talk to me this way?
Tim, I've offered it up to contractors. I'm like, can I just send you a couple pictures of what I'm thinking and blah, 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 and just call me back. And I said, and I've literally said, get me within a couple grand, one way or the other. I'll get you scheduled and a deposit. I just want to move the ball forward here. And they're like, no, I got to come out and rub my nipples on it and this and that to give you a price. And I'm like, oh my God, fucking shoot me. So, yeah, it is a weird one. Sorry, guys. But I am a weird one too.
Let me answer David Hartman really quickly. So he said, what I've normally thrown out, some price framing. So, and I did give you that option. So what I do now, though, is I've got my phone set up so efficiently. Like, if we need to talk numbers, I just need a little bit more information from Tom. And as we're talking, I've got his number. So as we're talking, I'm going to go there. I'm going to make sure I got the number, and I'm going to actually start texting Tom what he's describing. I'm going to start sending him photos, and then he's going to look at those photos. And as we're on there, and then go, what does that cost? What does that cost? So now we're getting to it's not estimating. It's like, well, if you want this one, this particular customer paid 12 grand. So I start framing that way by sending them, like, you need a number. There's many ways to give them a number. So I'd rather do it with a picture. I'm going to reverse it and send it back to you and give you a picture with a price.
So I imagine there are some contractors on here that have a lot more moving parts to their jobs, right? Like remodelers, GCs, things like that. Either one of you, give us a little on that, how you might handle that. Because, well, Derek, I know you've done really big projects where you've had a lot of moving parts. You sub things out and things like that. Like how might that be different?
I think it's because if you're a GC, you got to know your numbers. Like, I mean, I don't care what it is. You got to know your numbers. So
Derek's going to have a Jehovah's Witness knock on the door in a second here too.
Wait for a hooker to walk by.
You got police.
Hey,
you got a Jehovah's Witness.
I live in the city. What do you do?
Tim just starts laughing, and I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
What do you do? Sorry. I mean, I know this it's real life. This is real shit. This is the spirit of video is what this is.
I love it.
Yeah. So with that being said, if you're a GC, I don't care what contractor you are, you should know your numbers, period. So you should be able to get back. You got to, like Neil said one time, you got to take them off the street. And I think about that all the time. So if it's a big project, I'm going through the motive with whoever I'm on the phone with. I need to know who I need to talk to, who's the real decision maker, like who's going to write me the check. Let me talk numbers with those people. I don't care if it's a $5,000 job or a $5 million job. I still need to talk to decision makers. And here's the thing, guys. You chose your trade. And if your trade is difficult and you have a bunch of moving parts and things are frustrating and you can't niche down and you can't figure that out, well, you might want to reconsider. I mean, I'm a GC in a lot of ways. I'm not a licensed GC, but I do subs for certain things. So, and I'm not doing the thing where it's like, okay, well, you bid this out. It's pretty much like, I'm going to sell the job and I know my numbers on this and I'm going to bring in the right team and we're going to build the big project. Yeah.
Well, I know some people, because I've heard some of our GCs do this and stuff, and guys, I get it. Remember, the goal here is not to sell the job on the phone. The goal is to make sure that we're a good fit for each other first. Can I help you? And does it make sense for us to take our next step in this process? Right. And we want to get the money out of the way, at least get within the range. Derek, you said something earlier that, guys, this is an estimate. This is not an exact price. An estimate, the definition of the word estimate, guys, is an approximation. Okay. So it might sound like Tim's calling me for I don't know, a 2,000 square foot addition he wants to put on his house, right? Now I'm premature here because we're not going to hit all the steps in order or anything here tonight, but you might get to the money after you get through the motive and you want to talk money. And if sometimes there's just a lot of things that you don't know until you get into selections and stuff. And so it could be as simple as a question you guys like, Tim, I'm excited. I'm going to repeat back the motive stuff. Did I get this right? Did I miss anything? Guys, that's part of the training that we do. Okay. And then I'm going to go, Tim, are you cool if we talk about money right now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. How much are we thinking?
Well, listen, there's a few different ways we can go with this based on what you told me. So I guess my question for you is, are we going to design you a $300,000 to $400,000 edition, or are we going to stay somewhere under, 200, maybe down to a 1.5? I mean, which of those conversations should we be having right now?
Yeah. From what my wife says we have available, we're probably talking right in the middle. Certainly not the high end. I can't afford that. There's not enough money for that.
Okay. So I want to tap out. Guys, what I did there is, for those of you that maybe don't have the estimating experience, right? And that just comes with time in the game, right? I mean, I've done thousands of paint projects. I can have a conversation. You guys have done the projects you've done, and you can, guys, you can go third party. You go, well, people have spent, I don't know, $300,000-$400,000 on something like this, and people have spent 150 to 200 grand. I mean, which conversation we should, guys, you don't have to be exact here. You're just taking the temperature. And I just wanted to make sure that we put some light on that topic. So
you need to find out as fast as possible if that customer has a $2,000 budget for your $20,000 thing, or a $20,000 budget for your $200,000 thing. This is something. Oh, I'm just going to go nuts here. Sorry, guys. Like, just so much shit in my head that I want to get out. The things I've learned over the past 8-9 years, and really what I'm seeing this transition in my sales process, and it's really becoming an empathetic listener and a sympathetic listener. And when you really realize that there's somebody on the other end of the phone, and you can suppress your ego and how awesome you are, and realize that someone's calling for help, and they've had so many things going on in their world that you don't even know about. They probably have gotten in 15 fights over this. They probably kicked the dog 3 times. They probably fired somebody because all they need is something done. And then all of a sudden, they've got all this stuff going on back there, and they just get on the phone with you for the first time. So if you really go, shit, those people need our help. They're reaching out to us. And then you got to go, well, what stage of the decision-making process are they in? That's what we have to find out.
I love that question. You did that years ago, the first time on a role play in the group. And guys, that I think, like, seriously, if there's a question we should be asking every prospect that calls, that's probably in my top 5.
Yeah.
Like, if you called me, Derek, and be like, hey man, appreciate you reaching out and blah, blah, blah. Hey, just out of curiosity, what stage of the process are you in now? Are you looking to pull the trigger right away on this? Or are you just getting some ideas and rough budget numbers?
We're just in the information gathering stage at this point. Like, the wife and I like to put a lot of stuff together. We're very analytical, and we have this beautiful card table, and we get a lot of estimates, and we put all this stuff, we lay it out. We drink wine, and it's just the most amazing thing that we get to have fun with this. So we need a lot of information. So I would really love for you to come out and spend 4 hours with us and waste all your time and steal from your family. And then we're going to have you come out more. And then I'm going to have 15 other contractors come out too. And it's going to be awesome. Like, we don't even have TV. Like, this is so fun for us.
Well, Derek, I can't wait to come out and hang out with you guys at your estimate reading party and have a couple glasses of wine.
Yeah. Don't forget, it's not your house. You rent it. It's not
that's
your
right.
property. Yeah.
But hey, before we do that, would it make sense for me to tell you what some other people might have spent on something like this?
Oh, that'd be helpful.
So I don't want you to waste your good wine on me if you don't want.
No, it's my wife. Like, she created the Dewey Decimal System, so this is good. We're going to put that same price that you're going to give us with all the others in alphabetical order. It's awesome.
I love it, guys. Like, we don't have enough time to talk about all the different ways that you can grow and get better in this, because it's what I want to be clear. And I wrote this down and I skipped this earlier. I forgot to read it because I lost it in my notes here. Guys, don't think scripts, think frameworks. Okay. We're teaching you frameworks of how to communicate with people. Okay. How to not panic when you're asked a question, when you're backed into the corner. And that's what I think you two guys do as good, if not better than anybody else I've ever met, is you're never flustered and you're confident because you've put the work in, you've put the reps in, you've been here before. It's kind of like, you know, if you take Tom Brady, right? How many game-winning situations has the guy been in before he retired? You know, like, and there's like 43 seconds on the clock. They're on their own 17, and he's just calm and cool because he's been there before and he's put the work in and he put the film study in. And you know, it's a matter of setting the right protection, making the right read, and then we're just going to dink and dunk down the field, get out of bounds a couple times, kick the field goal, and win the game. Okay. I mean, shit, this past season, guys, I'm on an airplane. I forget where we were. He won the game twice in under a minute and a half. And the first time he won the game, there was a penalty. Like, he drove him down and they scored and they won it. And then the defense got to stop. He gets a ball back with like 40 seconds left or whatever the hell it was. And he goes down the field again and wins the game. Okay. And that's what happened, guys. That's how you could show up in your sales. Like, seriously, whether you like football, you like Brady, get the point here is the elite in anything. They're elite because they put the work in. A lot of you guys might read a sales book, listen to a podcast. Maybe you watched our sales training videos and you think you're a fucking expert. Okay. But you haven't put the work in because shit, Derek, if we really wanted to make people laugh tonight, we could dig up the first role play you ever did because we have it on tape.
It was awful.
And Derek knew these things. Derek knew these things. Okay. Yeah. But the confidence, you guys, is where the difference is made. Okay. And it's in the unseen work and the unseen hours that you put this work in. And so this to me is just committing to be a true sales professional, or are you just going to be a contractor that has a couple fucking sales lines? You know, I mean, that's the difference to me. Okay. Tim.
Oh,
somebody's pushing you, man. Derek, push Tim, push him, make him come out there. Tim's trying. I want to see show people how Tim might handle this.
Cool. All right, Tim. So yeah, man, just really looking forward to you coming out. Like, just so when, like, what do you do? Just come out on a Saturday? Should I just like take the day off? Like, what's that look like? So I really want you to come out.
Yeah, Derek, there's a few ways I can come out. One is I can probably send you my Calendly link. You can choose the day that works for you and works for your wife. We can get together.
I don't even know what that is. So I'm assuming you're bringing that with you. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, man. I think I just put. How old are you, Derek?
I'm 49.
Yeah, if you're between like 20 and 35, you probably would have understood me. But guys older like us, we don't have that stuff, so I get it. Yeah. So, Derek, I have 2 times a day, 2 times a week that I go out to meet people. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays between 3 and 7.
Tuesday's fantastic. That's my off day. Come on out.
Fantastic. So let's do that. What do you want, Tom? Do you want me to put? Yeah, so I'll come out there.
Perfect.
Cool.
See you on Tuesday.
Oh, I didn't set myself up for this, dude. I got to set it up in the moment.
Yeah, I threw Tim into the deep end there. So, Tim, you're trying to take control of your sales process. He's pushing it. Just come out like all the other guys did.
Yeah, dude.
You know, why can't you just come out here? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I want to come out there. I'd be asking questions in the motive, like, what point are you at in the sales process? I'd be asking questions like that. I'd know this sincere before I get to the fact we're talking about coming out there. But if somebody's pushing me in the beginning of the conversation, asking me, hey, you coming out? Hey, you coming out? Hey, you coming out? Hey, you coming out? Like, well, hold on. It's like, what happened to the last pawn guy? I'm worried if I come out there, you're going to hit me in the back of the head with a shovel. We're going to get there.
I kicked him out of the yard. He was way too expensive.
Yeah, that's like a second date question you're asking me to come out. I got to make sure I can give you what you're asking for. Just help me understand. What is it we're doing here? Paint me a picture.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I'm not a really good painter, but okay. I want a, 11 by 16-ish or something. Nice little ecosystem pond, because I saw it on YouTube. This guy called the Pond Guy. It's a little waterfall, I just want to hang out. Dude, here's the thing, man. I just want to have a bourbon and a cigar and just relax. And then can you build a fence that can keep my wife from coming out there and sitting with me?
Like, it sounds like you want this just like for you.
I do. I really do. And I'm kidding. It can be electric. But anyway, I just want to hang out. I just want to hang out. I do. I want to hang out and relax. And yeah, she'll come out and she'll have her glass of wine. And we just want to relax. We just want to unwind. And it just looks so peaceful. And we want the lights. It's like we want the fish. We want the plants. We want the feeling. There was a time we went to Costa Rica and we hung out and we had the best time. We didn't even talk. Sorry. Made it great. No, we were relaxing and we didn't need to talk. And like 3 hours passed by and it was just the coolest thing. So can you create that for us?
Yeah. Thank you for all that, Derek. This is like, it really sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I absolutely would love to. Absolutely. Derek,
See you on Tuesday.
What you described to me, Derek, is exactly with the lights, the sound, the size, exactly like the one I have on my website.
Okay. Haven't been there.
Right. Let's go look at it together right now. You're in front of your computer?
Yeah, absolutely. I can pull it up.
Let's scroll over there. Say we go to that you drop down menu about pond construction. We look at that picture. See that right in the middle?
Yeah.
Does that sound one look like what you're telling me you want?
That's even better than I imagined.
Okay. So if I would take that out of my website, out of that picture, and take it and put it in your space, would that make you happy?
It'd make me more than happy.
Really? Just like that?
Yeah, just like that.
Fantastic. You see how much that costs?
I do. Is that all?
That's it.
Okay. I'm in. Let's do it.
Fantastic. So if I come over and I meet with you and your wife, now if you don't want Erin there, that's cool.
She needs to be there. She needs to be there. It's important.
Now she needs to be there. Does she even know that we're talking? Because, hey, Derek, look it. If I come over there and I meet you and she's not there, or she's there and she hears me mention that we're putting a pond in your yard and that's how much it's going to cost. Well, let me ask you this. I'm going to be very, very blunt with you. Does she have a gun?
Several.
Really? Because the one thing I don't want to have happen is I say 12,500.
Right.
And she shoots me.
No, that's fair. Just careful what you say, but it could happen. But she's asked me to do this since we got back, and I really need to get out of the doghouse. And we're good. The money's good, man. We're good there. And I know, I'm sure there's some details we got to work out. I know there's something else. It can't just be this easy. But she needs to get this off her checklist. So you and I talking are huge. And if we could set up some sort of, you probably come out and consult, look at the site. I don't know. I know you need to do something. So if you can just tell me what that is so that I can convey that to her. We're good on the money. She's good too. We just need to make this happen. Please help me.
Thank you for that. That's an awful lot of information right there. So it sounds like she's got to be involved with this.
Yes and no. It's more of, she just has a running checklist, man. She just needs to get this off her checklist. She loves her plants. She'll probably pick out the plants, but she doesn't really care like the pond shape or the waterfall. Like, that's not her thing. She does want some involvement, but here's the thing. She just wants me to initiate things, and she wants me to follow through and just make things happen because we got a couple small children. She's busy. She's got all this stuff going on. She just needs me to take this away from her, and I need you to come in and give this to her.
Okay. So how do we make her feel that it's off her checklist, Eric?
What you just tell me? I'm like, what's the next steps? Like that's I need to go back because I'm going to say this again because we're not just like kicking tires here. We're good with the money, and you're the guy. So it's just a matter of you send me some paperwork. I need to give her something because here's the thing, dude. She doesn't trust me. I can't. If I go in there and I say, baby, I got this thing taken care of, she's like, oh yeah, like all that other shit you got taken care of. I just need some sort of confirmation. So whatever that is, you just tell me.
No, if it was my wife, I can share how she would feel. I guess the only thing that would really make her satisfied to get something off the check sheet is knowing that it's done. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe a signed contract.
Okay. I'm good with that because I do. I want a binding contract because I want to feel confident and comfortable. And then I know you need that as well. So I'm totally fine with that.
All right. So I mean, how do we do this thing, Derek? I can just send you a contract and you can send me the money, or do you think we should meet and then kind of make sure I'm a normal guy? There's not like tattoos all over my face.
Oh, I don't care about tattoos. I hope you got tattoos. Be way cooler.
You like tattoos. Derek, I don't. I'm just saying that just to make sure. I want to make sure that I'm the right fit for you.
Yeah. So let's set up. I mean, what do you do? Do you come out? Like, what is it? I mean, then I'm good. Deposit. Like, you just tell me what that looks like, because I know it's. I mean, we've had several other projects done. I get it, and I understand this. So I want to follow your process so this gets done.
Yeah, it gets, Derek. If I was to come over there and I looked at your space, and if there's something that prevents me from doing it, I don't know, it could be septic tanks, it could be fences, it could be an ancient Indian burial ground in your yard. Is there any of these things that you think that could prevent me from doing this job and like that in your yard?
There could be a septic tank, so that's something we need to, we'll address that. I'm sure there's going to be some extra charges or something for the set. I get it, like that's cool. But there could be.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we've already went over 12.5. I'm good with that.
Yeah. If that happens, Derek, I'm gonna kind of tell you when we're there. And I just want to be able to be honest with you right there and then. Is that okay?
No, it is, and I'm glad you're bringing this up because the one thing that the gun that Aaron carries, it's called communication.
Oh boy!
And it's a long gun because communication is a pretty long word. So it's tattooed on the side of it. So as long as you communicate with us through this process and what this looks like, you keep me out of trouble. Because she just needs to know this stuff's getting done. She just has this wheel that rolls around in her head of all these things, and it's just like like the lottery balls. Like you got all these balls going on, and that one pops out. That's one thing off her checklist, but she has like 50 balls in there, and I don't operate that way, but that's her. So when one shot out, she's done. One shot out, she's done. So for you, we just need those things done.
All right. So what I'm hearing, Derek, and I want to be sure. There's two parts of my business, Derek, and I'm going to share that with you, and you can kind of tell me which way we're going. It sounds like you just want to get this thing done, but some folks actually want me to come out there and kind of design something and take the design and think about it, and that's the consulting part of my company, okay? And I honestly, sincerely, Derek, I don't like consulting. I charge $500 to consult.
All right.
But for folks who just want to get on the schedule and not consult, that's just like a 50% deposit. That's 50 when we meet.
Do we even need to consult? Like, I just as rather just like pay a deposit. I don't need to consult because I mean, I've got a friend that's an attorney and I have a friend that's a doctor. I understand consulting. I don't need any more information to make a buying decision at this point. So let's go to deposit.
Okay, that's fantastic. So we're good with the size. We're good with what's happening. We're good with getting the project done. What comes next?
So fucking good, Tim. Jesus.
Money, right? Like I just gotta just send you some money. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we got to sign a contract. So that would be just us getting together, right?
Okay.
All right. Do you want to come to my house, or how does that work? Or do you want me to come to yours?
I mean, it depends on your bourbon selection, but it's probably should just come to my house.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you inviting me over. Thank you. I can meet you this Tuesday, like we talked about. Does that work?
It works. Yep.
Oh, fantastic. And that's pretty much it, guys. I just close it out.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, guys, is choices. I got to make him feel like it's his decision. I'm not going to force somebody to do something they don't want to do. They have to. And honestly, you maybe think it's kind of like cat and mouse type of thing. I got to be selective who I do business with. They have to be submissive to my ways. I don't want somebody pushing me around.
Mm-hmm.
You put in the time, Tim. Like it's just nobody's going to push you around. Like you know exactly every little objection that comes to you. You understand how to deal with it. And I could not help with your calm demeanor. You slowed everything down because I was goofing in the beginning. Just like, okay, let's get serious and go through this. I could not help but settle my cadence down and my tonality down to match yours.
Yeah, I noticed in myself that everything shifts because I have to slow this shit down. You're talking about these guns and balls, and it's like I don't know what he's talking about. So I just kind of throw out what's not important, kind of suck in what might be, and that's how I handled it.
You know, there were so many times during this conversation, I hope you guys heard it, where Tim took control by giving Derek control. Like, and it was over and over. It was subtle. It was, Tim, you didn't, you know, guys, we always talk about when one of the biggest mistakes salespeople make is when they get an opening of pain or pleasure, motive, and they think they understand it and they think they're going to get a yes. They pounce all over the fucking thing and like, we're really amazing. We come out and write this up and blah, blah. And they pounce and pounce and pounce. And what was just modeled here in both the role plays that were happening here tonight, you guys, was what we call peeling it back. And you kept peeling it back and peeling it back and not making assumptions. And guys, this comes through practice. And one of the things I want to shine light here too, listen, one of the most never talked about things that bothers me, like, can we just be fair? Like in the chat box, just a yes or a no or a screw you, Tom, or something. I don't care what you say, but like, I just want to know you're hearing me, you guys. In the sales process, you don't hear very often about the importance of role play. Like seriously, many of you might have been in other industries and stuff before. I know I had different sales jobs, and role play was like something that was done like once a year in a sales meeting. And you guys, this is the difference maker. I think this is one of the things that why these guys are so smooth. Okay. Like they earn this, they put the work in. And I know we're having fun and here and this and that, and we're role playing and this and that. But you guys, I have literally been in the room with both of you guys numerous times where you're taking a call and I'm hearing you on speaker with a client. I mean, Derek, we've been in the car together and you're having these guys. This is literally how it goes. Like, this isn't like some, bullshit game we're trying to play here and manipulate anything. This was like, nothing of this was planned. There was no, hey, let's talk about this situation. Nothing of this was teed up because both these guys are operating on the framework. And that's why role play is so important. You have to put in the reps. And you also, I will tell you this, of course I'm biased, but you have to role play with people that know what the hell they're doing.
Absolutely.
Okay. Guys, can either of you speak to the role play thing?
I will. I remember the first one doing it with you on video back when it was Contractor Sales Academy and we were doing that, and it was horrible, but I was still hitting I was still hitting the 5 points. And I remember at some point, because I'd done enough role plays after that I didn't just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of a sudden I jumped to 4. All of a sudden I jumped to 3, and now I'm moving around. It's like, this is kind of cool. And we kind of joked and said, it's like having this out of body experience, like where you're literally looking down on yourself going, is this really happening? And it's like, and I always think of it like the Matrix, with Keanu Reeves. And he's like, it's just all these things are coming at you. And you're like, it's like, you got it. And now it's just, I'm listening so intently, and Tim, you do as well. And I'm going, what step do I need to go to? Oh, they said their wife. Let me hang on. Let me keep taking my notes here. Let me keep taking my notes here. And I'll go, you mentioned your wife. And sometimes it's just that simple. You mentioned your wife, and we talk about STFU so much. And I'll just say, you mentioned your wife, and I'll just be quiet. So it's so uncomfortable. And they almost always fill in, yeah, this is her project. Or, yeah, no, she's not involved. But then I'm listening like, okay, what was that? And it's like, all right, let me write that down. And the whole time when I'm asking these questions, I'm taking those notes down. And now I have compiled about 15 to 20 things. And at any of those things, I can go there. I can go there. I can go there. I can loop back to motive if I need to. I can go back to money. I can go back to the truth. I can go to the BS meter. I can go to influencers, and I can flow through all this because I have all these things. And then what do? You close with, did I get that right? Is there anything else I should know? And then some people, holy shit, they unleash a whole nother thing. And now that job just went from 10 grand to 50 grand. And then I'm just rolling all these numbers in my head. And then it's like, when it's time, I can share that information with them and give them an estimated price over the phone and save so much time by not going to see someone that was never going to hire me in the first place, or to go see someone that could not wait and they've been stalking me. They've been stalking everything about my socials. They know everything about me. They've been to my garden center. They know everything. So that's what's so important about asking the open-ended questions, to see what they know about you. If they don't know anything about you, well, then you got to back up for a second and go, wow, I got to give them a lot of damn information. But if they know everything about me, and depend on where they found me, I know they already know money if they've been to my garden center website. So that's easy. But if they've just been to some of my socials, they may not know money yet. They just know who we are, and we might be a good fit. So it's a lot. It's just so much stuff that's so awesome and so fun when you get to a point to go, yeah, this is going to be so cool.
You know what? One thing I got to tell you with this Shin-Fu, with these questions, with just these steps we go through, and it never gets old. When I'm off the phone or halfway through with people will pause and they'll say, I really love your process. Yeah. And I hear it more from people who are in the sales business. And, Derek, we cater to folks who are generally in the medical field and some education, a lot of education, teachers and stuff like that. They love it. They just love the process and they appreciate it. I can't imagine going back, and somebody in the chat box said about the red pill. You take that pill, you start doing this thing, you can't go back.
Here's the thing. Everyone wants to be led in some manner, even alphas. There's an alpha for alphas, and sometimes you just have to be the alpha. So if you can just help them, now I can't say this enough, guys. If you truly can use tactical empathy and put yourself in a situation that you really, really just needed help, you just really needed guidance. And if you could look at that person like they just need guidance in this, think about how frustrating and how anxious and how awkward it is to reach out to a contractor for the first time or the fifth time. You just need someone to guide you, to be a Sherpa through the process. So Tim, you're exactly right, man. It's like they love this process because it's like we're hitting all the points. We're listening. We're giving the right information. We're setting up timelines. We're setting up money. We're including everybody in the decision-making process. We're letting them know that consulting may apply here. We're letting them know that deposits are going to need to be made. There's going to need to be paperwork. Like, we're letting them know all this information. And it's just a relief, because if you look at that in your everyday life, there's something out there that you just wish somebody would just take control so that you didn't have to worry about that shit. And that's what we do here. That's what we teach here, is how to help the other person get control of that situation and create happiness in their space. And I think about this more and more and more, what contractors do. Contractors are trying to help someone achieve the feeling that they're looking for in their space. And that's deep, I think. What is that feeling? Could be a lot of things, but that's what we're there to help them, to achieve that feeling that they need.
So you just cracked the door open to something that I want to talk about for a second, and that's motive. Most important thing that I think we teach in this whole thing is how to understand the motive, which, for those listening that aren't sure what that means, guys, people buy for one of two reasons: pain or pleasure. Okay, that's it. And they also buy for their reasons, not ours. Okay. Normally I would ask you all, I'm not going to do it now, to type in a reason why somebody should hire your business. And we're going to see things like, we have the most experience, we've won these awards, we've blah, 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 blah. And as valid and as important as those things may or may not be, none of those matter as much as your prospect's reason for buying. Right. And so can you guys share, it's easy to go that motive is the timing, right? And make the assumption that it's really timing, but it's a lot of times it's deeper than that. What are some motives that you've uncovered through the years that maybe have surprised you or you didn't see coming?
Tim, you go ahead. I ran my mouth for like 3 minutes. So you go ahead.
It's so good though, Derek. It is so good. Tom, I would say the most impactful thing for motive was this lady's first name was Micheline. And she called because she wanted to have a pond built in her yard, and she already had a pond kit that she had bought online. And the question was, how long you been thinking about doing this? And she says, well, I've been thinking about it for about 5 years. And I was like, my God, that's a long time ago. Why now? Did you want to get this thing done? And she opened right up. She goes, I bought this pond kit. It's been sitting here and I just kind of want to get it done. It's like, you had the pond kit for 3 years, 2 years. Like, that's a long time. Why now? And I discovered the fact that she just kind of opened up and said, my daughter and I wanted to build this. And I'm like, I'm not even going to write that down. I'm going to jump on this. I want to know what this is going on here. Because I could feel just the temperature changed in the conversation. And she shared with me her daughter had died in a car accident, and they had intended to build a pond together the year before. And it never happened. And it was like I just felt so heavy. The whole conversation changed. I said, look, I want to build this thing for you, but we got to get past, if this makes sense money-wise, we need to talk about money. And we just talked about it. And then, like, she'd been our customer for years. We built this thing for her. And I told her, we're going to build this thing for you. And we're going to build this thing for her. So when you sit there, she's with you. And it was like, everything came together. All this training I've had, I was able to put everything and focus 100% on what was important to her, and nothing else mattered. I just know I had to touch my points and make sure that we were on the same page. And the reason behind it was very deep. It was the most impactful real Shin-Fu I've had in my life.
And guys, you guys are in an industry that you build really cool stuff that can be built as a tribute. There's a lot of emotional reasons and things like that. I want to, for everybody that maybe, like, I painted houses, right? Never did I have everyone cry after a paint job, right? Except the first one I did that sucked. But anyway, but I want to point out some other things, guys. Other reasons people have her buying, and they're going to mask it with things. Okay, they're going to tell you certain things, but when you really learn to communicate like these guys are, you will uncover things like embarrassment. I mean, I remember selling a paint job to a woman once who, and I was easily twice as much as the other companies, but nobody really understood her motive. Her motive was every Thursday, I think it was, she played tennis with her girlfriends, and they always went to somebody's house afterwards. And they had, sangrias or whatever the hell they did, right? And she said, I finally got her to open up, and she said, whenever it's my turn in the rotation, I make an excuse of why we can't do it at my house, because she was embarrassed of the way her home looked, you guys. So I just want to point that out. Not that we have to go crazy on this motive thing, you guys, but there's always a reason below the reason you think. Okay. Normally there is. I can't say always, right? But, and when you can find that out, it makes the money and all the other stuff so much easier. So I want to get to a couple questions here because I know people have them. Spencer says, at what point do you stop peeling? It seems like the peeling process could begin to become repetitive or drag on. How do you know when to stop peeling to avoid the client getting tired?
I see this a lot. I
Good
see
question.
this a lot in our Agoge training in Battleground. Is a lot of the guys coming up, going through, they're so focused on the motive, they go too far. So that really it comes from the reps. It comes from the training. Because you just hear it because you put in the time and you know when to stop.
Yeah.
And they've said it enough and you validated it. They responded to it. You went through your checklist and you made sure you hit all the key points and you understand it. They might open up something else. It's just an awareness that comes from lots and lots and lots of role plays. And it's okay if you go over a little bit, it's okay. Like, it's just, you'll sense it because of your training. You'll rise to your highest level of training. That's when you know. And I notice it sometimes because I can sell, because they've done their research, they got all their information gathering, they've done all their things. I can sell 50, 100, 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever the thousands of dollars of projects in 20 minutes over the phone because they've already done their homework. It's not because I'm this master salesman. It's just I ask the right questions at the right time, and then I listen to it and I hear it, and I just go there and I hang out to it. If they need to go farther, we can. But a lot of times they're good. It's just an awareness.
Yeah, I'm thinking of how I would answer that, and I think if somebody's really unloading on the pain of the last contractor they used and how life was a living hell for 6 weeks or whatever it might be. Guys, I want to give them something tactical here, guys. I personally use permission, asking permission a lot. So I might say, hey, Derek, it might seem like I'm peppering you with some crazy questions here, but I just want to make sure that I get this right, because it sounded like the last time you did this was pretty frustrating. Are you cool if I just ask you a few more questions?
No, it's every other contractor just runs out here, and while they're out here, I still don't even think they know what I want. They just tell me what I'm supposed to want. So no, it's please carry on. This is actually refreshing. Yeah,
and Tim, you've always said that. Like I remember, I'm sure I know a lot of people do, but I remember I think hearing it the first time when you used it in a sales call or a role play was you just said very humbly, like, I just want to make sure I get this right for you.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Power in that is crazy.
Yeah, even like the other contractors and these scenarios we're all coming up with, these are real. This is real life. We see this all the time. So if another contractor screwed up the projects, look, you had a bad experience in the past. I just want to understand this because I don't want to make the same mistakes this guy did. And then you're mad at me. I can't have that. So I want to understand this.
Mm-hmm.
Even like Derek says, you know when enough. You don't keep on picking at that scab. You just take care of what needs to be done and then move on to what's important. Close it out.
Mm-hmm. Protex asks, what's a key indicator that they're not a good fit as a potential client aside from the obvious?
I mean,
obvious,
so,
right?
so in my world, I'm very diligent to find out what you know about me and my company. And if you don't know anything about me, I'm going to push you to the assignment selling side. I'm going to make sure that you got as much information as you need. And then at that point, that's how you're going to find out. Like literally, if you don't like what we built, if you don't know anything about me, why would I even come out to your space? It makes no sense to me. And in this day and time, we have enough stuff that we can share with people to make sure that they understand what we do. And in years past, I can remember going out and was going to do a landscape estimate, and it was actually for masonry work that I didn't do, which is close. Like it's close. But if I would have asked another question, a couple more questions, I would have found out that it was masonry, like true block work, not even like natural stuff. And it was just like, well, this is a big waste of time, but it was close enough to landscaping. It'd be crazy if I went out and they're like, oh, I thought you're supposed to fix my car. It's like, that would be even worse. So you got to gather enough information and you make sure that they have enough information about you. So for me, that's one of the key indicators of not a good fit. It's not always just because of personality thing. I mean, it's that they can hide that. Those people are good at that shit. Yeah. You don't find out till you after you got the contract and everything's good, and then they turn into crazy. Like you don't even know.
All right, here's another one. Captain wants to know, how can you reject a client politely when they keep insisting on price over the phone but refuse to refer to your website?
They don't look at prices. I don't know if they, I don't know.
I'll jump in on this one. I mean, I saw it earlier, so I think my mind's on it a little more than yours are, guys. But it might be, like, hey, Tim, are you cool if I share what other people do in this situation when they want to do a project like this?
Yeah, sure.
They'll snap a couple pictures, and they'll get them over to us. You can text it to me directly. I'll call you back. We can have a conversation. I just want to make sure I can help you here and what this is going to cost within a few bucks one way or the other. So they usually do that. And then we have a conversation. I mean, would it make sense for you to just send me a couple pictures and I can call you back?
I can do that. You can just you can look at my pictures and give me a price. How are you going to do that?
I'm not going to give you an exact, to the penny price, but I'm going to get us within a few $100 one way or the other, just to see if it makes sense for us to take the next step here.
You're still going to have to come out though.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to move ahead with the project, I'm for sure going to have to come out. But Tim, what if I told you this project was going to be between $10,000 and $12,000? What would happen next?
Yeah, I'm talking about $5,000 here. This shouldn't take more than $5,000 to do.
$5,000?
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's all I have to spend on it. And you're at, you're saying 12,000 at the most. It's like that's more than I have.
Yeah, I hear that from time to time. What do you think our next move is here, Tim?
Yeah, it sounds like I'm gonna have to keep on calling other people because you're just too expensive for me.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate your honesty on that. You know, Tim, would it make sense before we go, and I'm all for you finding the right fit for you, would it make sense if we maybe pulled back the scope on this and built you something between $5,000 and $6,000?
Yeah, yeah, if you could tell me what that would look like, because I don't want to have much less than what I asked for.
Yeah. What if I wasn't able to do what you described to me earlier?
Yeah.
So guys, whose idea is this? My point, I want to get to more questions, but because Tim and I can do this all day. All right, yeah. You guys, I mean, Derek, you were watching. What was I doing?
You just working through it. You just literally just helping him understand how this is working and what this looks like. And then he has to make the decision to whether he wants to go forward or not.
Yeah, Captain, I'm letting Tim reject himself.
You guys look at, so you know what the thing is, Tom, you don't have your sales hat on. That's like, I got that from Dirk years ago. He took the sales hat off. He's just helping me kind of figure it out. It's like that he can't do what I need him to do for that much money. And that's it's again, Tom, it's not your problem. That's my problem.
Yeah. Well, and guys, sometimes, sometimes you need to reject a client because you just get the sense they're not going to be a good fit, and that's okay. Handy Solutions Property Improvements here was like, why would you reject the client? Like, if I just get a sense that, I've had this before. I'm like, hey, you mentioned that your current paint job is half done right now. Tell me more about that. Oh yeah, the contractor was here and we got in this argument and blah, blah, blah. And now, all this, I've seen it all, guys. We've all seen it all. You're in it long enough. You've seen it all. And so that's like a red flag to me, right? That's a flare gun going, caution, 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 so I'm going to let that person opt themselves out of my world. And I'm not just going to go, Tim, you're an asshole. You're not a good fit for us. See ya. Okay. Because you never know how this is going to come back around. You want to treat people with respect and let it be their idea. That's called the Columbus principle. So, okay, here we go. Here's a good one. Scott, what's the biggest aspect of sales you all struggle with the most, even with your experience and the process? What do you struggle with most right now?
Customers just not doing their part of the deal. That's the biggest thing. But I'm okay with that when they show up because I can guide them through the steps. Mm-hmm. But this day and time, if you set yourself up socially, you remove so many of those hurdles. Like that's just crazy. Like that's all I got. It's like the customer's not prepared for the phone call. Like they didn't show up with their pen and paper like they're supposed to, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. You kind of get spoiled after a while. Now it's like, I'm just so curious. Like are you just in the information gathering stage? Like you could there's so many things. Like, it's like, I'm so excited. I just got to know, why did you even call JVI? Mm-hmm. Just let it open up.
Yeah, I'm thinking, guys, one things we didn't talk about, but I just want to give people watching this just because if they can walk away with a couple tactical things. Guys, I like to start my calls with some gratitude. Okay, in spirit of the conversation, tonality. But like if Derek or Tim called me, I'd be like, hey, where'd you find me? And they might say Google. They might say my neighbor referred me or whatever it was. Saw your trucks and ended up on your website. I'm like, hey, I appreciate that you ended up on my website. It just so I can know what in particular jumped out at you on the website that made you want to call me, or what in particular did the reviews say? So guys, or my neighbor who referred, or your neighbor, whatever it is, guys, I personally do that because later on, if I get any pushback on why I'm not running right out there, I'm going to say, hey, Tim, I can't wait to come out and meet you, but are you cool if I kind of go off the record here with you a little bit?
Yeah. What's up?
I'd love nothing more to come out there to your yard, shake hands, and dream about this project with you, and hopefully be your guy. But earlier you were sharing this, that, and the other thing from the reviews or your neighbor or whatever that you were really impressed by.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a reason that so many people say those things about our company, and it's because we follow our process. And every single time I don't follow my process, nobody gets what they want. And I can't let that happen.
I think I understand where you're going with this.
So guys, I let my process be the bad guy. I let the reviews and the social proof and the nice things that were said or the reasons why they called me when I've dug a little in the very beginning of the formalities of the call. Okay. That's what sets that up later if I get pushback. That's my personal way. So, okay. That works for me. Okay. Let me see if there's any more questions here. Sometimes what's that?
You got it.
Sometimes I'll let people know in regards to the price that I'm not the cheapest. It seems to work, but what do y'all think? I don't know who asked that, but I think that's a terrible idea.
It's just like I don't like, what does that serve? Like, okay, did you just, are you questioning whether they have money or not? I mean, that's like that doesn't land in my vocabulary. Because it's outside of the motive. Like that's kind of an old school thing in a way. Like if you go through that discovery process and because guys, this is why the motive is the most important part of the 5-step process of Shin-Fu. You'll spend the most time in the motive, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's just matter of fact. You just got to go through it. You just got to work through it, because if you listen to someone, and I'll share this. This was years ago. So I'm not around Aaron as much as I used to be, like doing my sales calls and stuff. A lot of times it would happen in the house and I was at home. So now I'm in my Airstream. It's my office. So it doesn't happen as often. But a couple years ago, she's listening to me and I get off the phone and she said, I got a question. Like, yeah, it's so funny because she Shin-Fus me. She's the ultimate Shin-Fuer. Like some people just understand this shit. A lot of people have to train and reach this point, but some people just get it. She's one of those. She literally goes, I got a question. Like, do you think some of the ladies that you talk to or even some of your customers are attracted to you? And I'm like, what do you like? I mean, hopefully it'd be cooler if they did. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's like, I'm not a pool boy. So, I mean, maybe there's a landscaper pool guy kind of pond guy thing. And she's like, no, because I literally listen to them and you're really making them feel heard. And there's so many people that are yearning in life, in families, in society, just to be heard. And you're literally taking 15, 20 minutes and listening to someone. And I hear them share these really unbelievable things. So they have to be attracted to you. And that's why the motive is so important. If you look at it from that perspective, and I like to use this simple analogy. When you're in a crowd of people at the mall or the store and someone goes, Tim can't help but go. And then you realize it's another Tim and you're like, shit, I was hoping it was me. Like it's so important that we listen to people, because so many people are wanting to be heard and they're just not. So if they can reach out to you and you can listen to them, validate them, make them feel heard, illuminate that imaginary sign that everyone is wearing around their neck that says, make me feel important, you are so much closer to getting the job. And the other thing is, get to that person so fast when they reach out to you that you can take them off the street, like Neil says, and just listen to them. Just talk to me. And I say that all the time. If you guys hear it in my lives that I do in Battleground, because in Nashville, I can literally record phone calls with only one person agreeing to it being recorded, and that's me. And I share that with you guys. And I'll just start with, thank you so much for calling, JVI. I really appreciate it. Is this a bad time? And then I go, I'm just going to just be quiet for a couple of minutes. And I just want you to talk to me. I'm just going to listen. And I'll sit there sometimes for 9 or 10 minutes and not even say a word, because they have been wanting and yearning to just share this with someone, because they have a feeling that they need to achieve. And as a contractor, we have to figure that out. No matter what the trade is, we need to figure out what that feeling is and build it for them.
So Facebook user who said, I let people know I'm not the cheapest. It seems to work. What do you think? And I said, I think it's a terrible idea. I want to give a little more context to that. whoever that person is. I don't want that person to feel disrespected. In general, when I'm coming out and I'm saying, well, Tim, we're not the cheapest. Okay. It's usually in the context of me telling. It's maybe on the heels of, well, we just want to get some prices and, we got 3 or 4 other bids and they just seemed like they were a lot of money. Well, Tim, we're not the cheapest out there. We're usually the most expensive. That doesn't serve any purpose. It creates no connection. So in that, just whoever did this post, I want you to understand that, we need to understand the context that you're using this statement. Okay. But if Tim were to say, we got all these other bids or, whatever, Tim, you mentioned, you weren't happy with the pricing that you were getting. What are you hoping to hear from me today?
Yeah.
Good. Now he's going to open up, you guys. He's going to open up. Okay.
Yeah.
So whoever said that, I just want to make sure that I didn't want you to feel disrespected here, but like if we're telling, and sometimes, or when somebody says, oh my God, you're 12 grand. And Tim was like, I got 5 grand.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not the cheapest. Quality costs money, blah, blah. These are all these things that we can do where instead, I'm going to peel it back more. I'm going to say, I'm going to agree. Number one. Yeah, I get that could be a lot of money. Okay. So what do you think we should do next? Tim, any other thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I get that price objections. Like, damn, that's tricking. That's almost as much as I paid for my car, or that's way too much money.
You must have a nice car.
Yeah. I get that a lot. I'd say to people like, I remember when BJ's just opened, I used to go shopping and my wife and I would fill up the shopping cart and it was like $150. It was just like last week I went there, it was $300 and it wasn't even near the top.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, yeah, I just filled up my Lexus last week and it cost me almost $150. I'm like, oh my God, that must be the good stuff. Oh, nothing but the best for my car. I said, sometimes when I say these prices, I just can't believe that things cost so much. And then they go, yeah, they do. I'm validating, but to say like, we're not the cheapest. It's like Neil says, it amplifies it. You can't afford me. It's like saying, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. It's like, we didn't even talk about Spanish. Why are we even talking about that?
You got to be careful of trigger words. And that's what I think a lot of salesmen, the way the traditional sales process has worked, it's like these trigger words. And if you STFU, if you ask an open-ended question and you just let them roll with it, you're going to avoid so much of that. And so I'll give a little tactical thing. And just like Tom, you've always used that, what would you like to do next? I like using them when you're having this great conversation, but you're not really sure where it's going and you just pull it forward. And I think actually this may even be yours, Tom, but they all run together, right? Like we've shared so many of these. It's like, I'm going to say it's yours. And it's like, let's just say we're having this exact same conversation and it's going so well. I'm really excited about this. And let's just say I'm in your space because you really want me to come out. And I'm actually very anxious to come out. Let's just say we're having this exact same conversation in your space. What's going to happen next?
Mm-hmm.
You will be shocked at what people say. Like it brings it all forward. You're calling BS on them. And that's where this stuff, there's so like, we need like 72 hours to go through all these little things. And
you're going to get, well, I'd have to get some other bids and just keep you honest. You're going to get, I'd have to talk to my spouse, CPA, accountant, financial planner, business partner, fill in the blank, whatever you're going to get. And, oh man, your spouse, what do you think she's going to say?
I love that one. That one's so fun.
Cool.
Like it just brings it forward. She's going to say no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, why would we even spend that kind of money? But I like using the one too, especially when a lot of contractors come up and it's just it's a simple little word track. It sounds like that you're, now I'm labeling. It sounds like you're speaking to other contractors. Yeah, we're talking to other contractors. Like, what are you hoping that they're going to say that I haven't said? And it could open up a whole nother thing. And it might not even be price. You never know. It could just be, well, it's like Tom, you've used this before. My baby's at home, and
wake my kids up.
Yeah. So it's you don't know. You never know. And I'm so surprised at the shit that I don't know. Like when I really, really think I know what it is and I ask an opening question, they just throw something out that I've never heard before. And I'm like, that was not like, I was okay. All right. Tell me more about that. and just shut up again.
I've had, I've had, how did I ask this question? I'm like, yeah, we're really excited to do the project and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I'll get bold, you guys, and I go, Tim, if I come out there and I tell you it's, around that 12 grand or whatever we just talked about, what's going to derail this?
How am I? Yeah.
Like,
how am I going to lose this job?
Yeah.
Could you tell me, like, right out of the gate, just how am I going to screw this up? I'd really like to know.
Yeah, I had somebody. I asked that question. Somebody said, "Well, I got my septic guy's coming over. He's going to give me a price this afternoon." I'm like, "The septic guy? Oh yeah, my septic tank is like the leach field needs to be redone." I'm like, "It's like, well, I'm not coming over because he's coming over. He's going to take all your money. How come you didn't call me before you call him?"
So, guys, what you're hearing, there's like, we're all very different personalities, but we're all ourselves, and you can interject a little humor into this thing with prospects. It's refreshing when you talk, go try to buy something and talk to some salespeople. You're dying for them to ask you questions so you can open up and to have a little play back and forth. And it's not all serious and close the deal and sell me this fucking pen and all that other bullshit, like it's, be yourself, guys. And you can never play really free if you haven't put in the reps with anything that you're going to do. All right. So, guys, in a minute here, I'm going to make a couple announcements and then I'm going to let you guys have the last word here. But guys, if you have not grabbed the Shin-Fu sales training, go to thecontractorfight.com/sell. You can grab it there. If you have it and you want to pour gas on that and go turbocharged, send a message to help@thecontractorfight.com and ask to get into Battleground, where we do this every weekday. We do these role plays every day. You get time with the coaches like this and other kick-ass members and black belts in our program where you can rep this with people that really know what they're doing. All right, I lied. I'm going to handle David's thing last year because I think this is a great little role play to do. So either one of you pick this up. So, listen, that's 20 grand is cool, but I was just really hoping for a lower price.
Well, Tom, if I lower the price, that means I was charging you too much in the first place.
Come on, Derek. We all know contractors are getting their profits and stuff. You could, just 7%, just knock off 7%. I'll sign the contract.
How about I knock off 7% of the scope?
Well, what's the point of that then? I just didn't want to pay this much money. I've gotten 4 or 5 other bids and you're like 32.5% higher than all of them.
No, that totally makes sense. So this will be cool. So we'll bring our A game if you pay my price. If I negotiate, a little less motivated, and the team kind of knows. So just kind of be a good job. Are you kind of a good job versus a great job?
Well, Derek, all businesses run deals and things like that, and they still bring their A game. I don't understand why you can't just knock 7% off. We'll get this thing scheduled. We'll keep your crew busy. It's wintertime. Contractors need money right now.
That's fair. Tom, is it okay if I just speak up with candor for a minute?
Of course.
Is it okay if we is it okay if we talk off the record, like legitimately? Let's talk off the record, like no BS.
All right. Well, I want 7% off because I think I'm overpaying for this. How's that for no BS?
Oh, I like where this is going. I don't want
Me
your
too.
business. I don't want your business. How about that for off the record?
All right. Well, I guess we're done.
Thanks for calling.
Click. All right. In the box, win or a loss?
Click rhymes with something.
So as we're going through this too, it's like I'm thinking of other things. It's like, seriously, dude, like what? Do you want me? I can do this one or two ways, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
You okay with me opening the 2 ways that I would do this?
Sure.
So if I match your price, it is because I'm not busy, and it is because I need the work. But here's the other thing too. If I negotiate with you, then I'm stealing from my family and I'm stealing from my team. You're getting hooked up, which is great. totally get it. Respect, right? And that's probably how you run and do a lot of things. But over here, if I negotiate, dude, I'm screwing so many more people. And candidly, I'm not even excited about the job because I have this little thing like rolling in my head that you got me, and I don't like that. And you're probably going to tell your buddies that you got me, and I don't like that. And it's just this really weird thing. But if you want me to show up with my A game and build paradise in your space and happiness in your space, just pay my price, man. And if not, reach out to the other dudes, man. They probably have a different overhead scheme than I do. They probably can afford that price difference, but just don't beat me up there, man. Like it's just not going to work out good for either one of us.
Yeah, I want to point this out too, guys. I came at Derek a little as a high D on the disc profile, very assertive, very aggressive, and Derek matched that. He mirrored that back. So that's not always an appropriate way if the person is not in your face like that, because I kept coming at Derek. He just turned it around and gave it right back. And then we were done quicker. Okay.
And that's only because we do the little play of off the record. It's
right.
Asking for permission. It's going through it. And you can go there because I'm trying to be nice guy, but if Tom wants to be a hard ass, if we go off the record, but you got to get the spirit of the conversation right. You can't just do this out of the gate. Like this is something that comes from lots and lots and lots of role plays, right? Rising to your highest level of training. Cause I look forward to that. And I literally asked him, I was like, do you want me to like defend this whole thing or should we just be done? Cause I can justify all of this stuff. If you want to hear about it, I'll share it, but I don't want to just throw up all over you. Just tell me what you want to do.
I heard one of you guys, I don't know, it was one of you or one of our other coaches or members or something, but they actually, in that scenario in a role play, they said, hey, are you cool if I'm totally candid or whatever you said, however you said it? Yeah. When you go to work, do you discount your pay?
Yeah.
It was some sort of a question like that. It was worded a lot better, but it totally was like, well, no. Okay. Well, I'm not willing to steal from my team and my employees. And, God forbid something goes wrong on the job and now I got to eat that. I'm doing the job for free. So sometimes, guys, it's very appropriate just to smack it like that, right? It's very rare, but sometimes it's appropriate.
Well, you said candid, so I gauged 3 of them. I gauged candid is a very polite way to be saying honest, because if we say I'm going to be honest, it could possibly mean that we're being dishonest. So candid is good. I go to candor because it's a little step up. Like, okay, it's a little more serious. If I got to go to frank, can I be frank? So I literally look at these like 3 levels of conversation. And if you want to be high D with me, frank, it's like, but I'll set it up. Like, because once you do that, it's like, let me just shoot you straight, dude, because you're coming at me from this angle and I can shoot you straight, or I can just play cool, like just this little subordinate contractor, but that's really not who I am. So you just let me know how we want to go back and forth. And I will, because I want to give you the information that you need, regardless if it's a tough conversation, dude, like, and we don't have time for this, but what is so cool, guys, if you will put in the effort, put in the training, do the role plays, you will find yourself looking forward to difficult conversations, because it's like, oh yeah, because you know where they're going with it. It's like, this is so cool. This is going to be a challenge. This is great. I know I've got all this information. I've got these arrows in my quiver. I can use them. That's what's so cool about this. You will not be backed into corners anymore.
Yeah. And there's so many different ways we could have gone, because I talked to these other guys, they were 33.5 or 32.5%, different and blah, blah, blah. Derek, you could have easily, you were just matching me, guys. This is the thing. This is what happens in a go-gay too. In Battleground, we like critique each other. We all learn shit, but like Derek could have easily gone, man, you mentioned, that I'm way more money than these other guys. And I'm just curious why we're even having this conversation at this point. Like why haven't you, pulled the trigger with one of them yet? Okay, be curious about it, guys. And now and I've done that before in the past and literally got this woman to say, well, I just wasn't confident that they would protect my hardwood floors, because we just had our hardwood floor, and boom, game over. Okay. And I'm like, well, isn't it worth a little more money to have your hardwoods protected? She's like, yeah, but not $4 or $5 grand, whatever my price difference was. And I said, well, just out of curiosity, Tim, how much would it cost you to have to redo your floors again?
Yeah.
And she literally went, okay, Tom, you got the job. It was done. Okay. Because of tonality and all those other things, you guys. Okay. But this happens because of the reps. Okay. All right, guys, we've gone 1 hour and 36 minutes. I want to thank the two of you guys for going so long with us. Time goes like this whenever we're shooting the shit. Guys, give these two a hand. They didn't have to be here tonight, and they wanted to be here. Grab our Shin-Fu Sales Training videos. We've dropped the link in there a few times. And if you want to save $100, you can save $100 if you buy them before tomorrow night, the last day of February. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the price goes up $100. There's no bait and switch. There's no fucking game here. It's just, it's an introductory price because we released these new sales videos and we want to get them into the hands of as many contractors as we can and get you guys some fast wins. And like I said earlier, if y'all want to pour gas on the stuff you'll learn in those videos, get your ass in Battleground and you'd be surprised how quickly you can move. Last word to each one of you guys.
It's just, if you speak with kindness, you can say whatever you want. And if you tell someone the truth, they know how to feel. Because if you don't, they're going to make up stories in their head, and the stories are never good.
So good.
Word.
So good.
Yeah. What do you
Guys,
guys, Tim?
these things, like you guys are listening to us, it didn't happen overnight.
No.
It takes practice. And you know, you guys, if you're purchasing the training videos, it's going to start you off. It's going to give you a head start, head over heels over what other people are seeing out there. But if you really want to, like Tom says, pour gas on this thing, it's a sales training through, you know, and the role playing that we offer. I can't imagine life without this, what my life would be like. And I want everything that Derek and I have for you. But you have to want it more than what we want it for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So from my heart, I want you guys to consider doing something for yourself. Gift yourself, gift your family a better future. And that's all I got to say.
Love it. Guys, appreciate you. Everybody share this with another contractor. Head to thecontractorfight.com/sell if you want to learn more about these videos. They're gold, guys. I'm telling you, you guys knocked it out of the park with this shit, man. I just did like the intro and one or two other little things of it. You guys crushed it. Thank you for doing that.
No, that was awesome. That's fun. It's always cool hanging out. Thank you, guys.
Got it. We'll see you guys. Have a great night.
Cool. Later.